points for that.
I receive it in the realm, not in the physical.
Hey. Okay. Abi, we can start, eh? Mr. Pia, how are you? What's up for Pia? Okay. Francis, pray with us.
We pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for tonight, for the opportunity to continue our education. We pray that everything that we intend to do tonight, learn tonight, will be useful, not in just for this course, but also in our ministry work. In Christ Jesus' name we pray, thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Any revelation or discoveries from previous? Any addition, any subtraction?
For me, I'm still reading the material you sent today.
Is it making sense now?
Oh, it is something. I'm talking about people-centeredness and development. It's an interesting concept, but I'm still struggling to fully get everything.
You mean the one I posted today?
Yes, sir.
The article. Oh, okay. But did you agree with the writers? It makes sense? Where you've gotten to anyway?
I don't disagree.
You don't disagree?
But I don't fully 100% agree yet. I'm still trying to get all their points. I mean, they are interesting points about focusing on people rather than on the development work itself.
Okay. Any other person? Okay, well, so that's what I wanted us to discuss today, actually. So let me just share. Okay, so maybe we can begin to have some discussion on what people-centered development is all about. And so what comes to mind when we say people-centered development?
In my opinion, I would say it's taking into account the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of people rather than just focusing on the goal of the development you are trying to do. So the people matter more than the project, in a sense.
Okay, the people matter more than the project. Okay. Any other?
Well, from me, I think that people-centered development, you are talking about building their capacities, the capacities of people, equipping them with skills that they would be able to push forward and sustain projects that are implemented.
Awesome. You read the material, eh?
No, I haven't read the material, but it's just...
so well vision there, that's what you do all the time.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. All right, any other? Richard, you are in the house. Mr. Mwaku.
Can hear you, sir.
Is Mr. Mwaku in the house?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. What's your take? What's up?
Sir, I just joined, so I don't
Just
actually know what. Yeah.
Okay. So, Kwame.
Yes, Reverend.
Yeah. Let's take your thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think everything that Dr. Francis and Dr. Salifu shared, but just to add one or two. So I want to introduce the term empowerment. There's a development that is focused on empowering people. So whatever intervention through a project or activity is seeking to empower people. So it's not just about doing the activity, but how can that development process improve the advancement of the people? And by advancement, we're looking at the holistic development or advancement of the people, social development, economic, and all the other dimensions that we have looked at in previous lessons. So that's what I just want to add on.
Thank you very much. Also for Jethro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm here, sir.
Add some.
I'm here, sir.
Add some. Add some.
Oh, I'm following, sir.
What are you following?
I'm following, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll add my voice as we are on, please.
Yes, please. Stephen, you want to add something?
So I'm also flowing, but the only thing I'll add is that for people development, I may look at what Jesus kind of development sought to do from Luke chapter 2, verse 52, which says that Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature, in the favor of God and the favor of men, which looked at mental development, physical development, spiritual development, that from the Christian perspective, and then social development as well. So I see people development in the light of these four elements. So that's the little I can add to it.
Okay. Okay. Bless you all. Thank you very much. And so if I want to take it further, then I want to ask again, what makes a development? With all the risks we've been hearing so far, what will you say qualifies a development, or what makes a development?
So, Reverend, if I may, I want to use a definition that the Brundtland Commission is the commission that was set up by the UN sometime 1992 there about when they were discussing the concept of sustainability. So, and sustainability or sustainable development is also a form of development. So, if you ask what makes development, I'll say that it's what makes development is the kind of development that is focused on meeting the needs of the present today, whilst also safeguarding or guaranteeing the needs of future generations. That's what I want to see in terms of development or sustainable development.
So meeting the needs of people
of today, the present.
And when you say needs, what are you referring to by saying meeting the needs?
So basically, development is we are developing because we want to solve. We have societal problems in economics. Economists will tell you we have the problem of scarcity of resources. You understand? Man needs to thrive, needs to survive, but man can only do that if they have access to resources. And by resources, I'm looking at the broad spectrum of all resources you can think about. But, resources are scarce. We have so much, but not everybody has access to the resource. So it becomes like, how do you allocate or distribute resources in such a way that you would have efficiency or optimal use of these resources? So when you talk about needs, you're looking at how do you best ensure that people are transformed or people have improvement, in their lives holistically, and by that you're looking at those that are in the present today. And once you do that, you should be mindful that there would be people who will come in the future. So that's the future generation. So we can go ahead to develop or advance our cause today, but we should do that not taking decisions or not doing things that would hamper or have a negative effect or impact on the development of those who come in the future of posterity. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What I also want to add is that, my previous colleague have said.
Is that Frank?
It should be. Yeah, that's Frank.
Yes, boss.
That development is development when, like, from what we've learned so far, then when it is holistic and it addresses the intellectual needs of people, the physical needs of people, the spiritual needs of people, and then like the total well-being of people. And then also, like Kwame said, where development is development when we can see a change. And I think that's what I want to add, that when you can actually see a change, that a person was in this state and the person has been moved to a different state, that is when we can see, it's when we see change that we can say there's been development.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so this Stephen.
Yeah, Stephen, yes.
Yes, I will contribute by taking it from the perspective that the development is being looked at, in the sense where we will call development development from the world's perspective, if it meets all the benchmark or the framework that the world defines development. But then from the Christian point of view, or from the Christian perspective, we'll call development if it meets all the benchmark or the yardstick that the Christian looks at, which introduces the concept of spirituality. So I believe what makes developments probably would also introduce the concept of the perspective that is being looked at. So that's my contribution.
Okay, Reverend Felix.
Yeah.
I also think what makes development is when the idea or plans are being executed. Until plans are being executed, the development will still remain a wish list or something.
And which plans, what are you talking about?
What my point is, what is the essence of development when it's not seen? You can only call, sometimes, let's say, we are developing something. Developing something, I think, is different from when the thing has been developed. So for me, what makes development is when that which had been planned to be developed had been developed.
So for you, development is a means and an end.
Come again, please.
So for you, development is a means and an end.
Exactly my point.
Hey, Bonnet. Okay. I take the last one from Michael. Michael, shall we? Michael, are you in the house?
I'm here. I agree with all that they have said.
Really? What is it, all that they have said?
Yes, I agree with all.
Which of them?
About the fact that, that I'm elucidating. The one that talks about the fact that development must be looked at from the perspective of development, whether it is Christian or worldly. I believe the Christian development is what introduced the spirituality, where the development touches the tripartite part of the human being. The person's soul is developed, his spirit is developed, and his physical well-being is also developed. Then Christian-wise, you can say that that is developed. But when you look at it from the world's point of view, there might not necessarily be the spiritual part of it. It is usually focused more on the mental and then the physical well-being of a person. So that would be what I will add to it.
That's powerful. Okay, maybe I want to ask my last question. Is development capacitation or giving charity? Or what is the difference between giving capacitation or capacitating someone and giving the person charity? What's the difference? And will you say development is capacitating or giving charity?
I think the analogy that comes to mind is giving somebody fish and then also teaching the person how to fish. So I think it's more capacitation.
For you, it's more of capacitation than giving charity.
Although I think that in the process of enabling the person, you may have to also be charitable. But ultimately, the person is developed when the person is capable.
Okay, all right, awesome. I mean, being charitable and giving charity, is it the same?
Is that question to me?
Yes.
They are not the same.
Okay, that's fine.
They are not the same.
All right. Yes. Who else? Another question. What should development be? Capacitating or giving charity? What is the difference, actually? Those who have not yet spoken, who hasn't spoken? Is Mr. Apia here? I can see him, but I can't hear him.
Oh, yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. You are here now.
No, I've been here when I tried to speak, but it was not coming.
You're muted. Okay. Yeah, let's hear you. I hope you are doing well there, though.
Yes, I went to bury my auntie on Friday. So Friday I couldn't join. Yesterday I was there. I just came.
Our condolences.
Well, I've not been following. As supposed to be.
Just get the materials and read. But this is a question not based on anything.
The development is. Somebody was trying to say need. The need of somebody. As somebody said, if somebody needs charity, you want to develop somebody, he needs charity, you give charity. If he needs compensation, you give. So you look at what the person needs. So to me, it's both. It's both, depending on what the needs be, what you want to achieve. So development, somebody may you have to put the capacity of somebody to be able to do something. At the same time, somebody may also need charity. So to me, it's a blend. It should be a blend.
What do we need? Charity or capacitation?
Reverend,
if I should rank
to me,
if I should rank it, capacitation first.
Okay.
Capacitation first.
That's fine. Yeah, who was talking?
Reverend Felix.
Yes, boss.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on. Michael, you can speak. Yeah, you can speak.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
This is Michael Chowie.
Yeah, that's fine.
I am thinking about, yeah, okay, I'm thinking about
Michael has disappeared.
I has disappeared. I thought I was the one going off.
Hello, Reverend.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to chip in something.
Yes, please. Who is it? Justice or Richard?
Richard.
Yes, please, Richard.
Richard. The capacitation, to me, is a subset of the charity, because the charity can comprise of capacitation. So charity is not restricted to giving the physiological needs of the pauper. So charity can be taking someone through school. You are giving the person capacitation. So the capacitation is a subset of the charity.
Are you sure? The example you're giving.
I was asking a question.
You went off, so somebody is now on the floor. So when the person finishes, then you can talk.
Okay.
So Richard, what you are saying seems to be contradicting yourself.
No, that is how I understand it.
Okay.
So it's like charity. So if you are giving an helping hand to someone, you a process. Capacitation is a process. The person passing through a process to change. So if you are giving a helping hand to the needy, maybe you have a handiwork and you want to help the person develop, learn that work. It's under charity to me. So you are giving the person a process of change, development. So capacitation is under charity. That is how I understand it.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Michael, you can ask your question now.
So I was saying that the aid that we receive from IMF and China and the rest to this part of the world, the monies they give us are not charity funds, i.e. we pay for it at some interest. So in that sense, that is not charity, but they are helping our development because we use those money to build roads and other infrastructure that we need. So is that capacitation? Because I don't also see that as.
Are you there or you are off? Francis, am I online?
Yes, please, you are. I think Michael's question ended prematurely.
I'm sure he's having challenges with the network.
Anyway, sorry, Reverend, please, can I say something?
Is that Ben?
Yes, please.
Oh yeah, Ben, go ahead.
Reverend, please, I think that those who are not using Wi-Fi, those who are using mobile data, they can go into their internet settings. And usually where there's an option, they give option LTE, 3G, 2G, that one is automatic, can be shifting. But if they want to continue for a live streaming, they can choose the 3G only. So it gives you a stable network throughout.
Okay, that's revealing.
Yes, please.
I didn't know that. You are learning
I'm bringing my telecom engineering here small.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so we thank God. So the material I posted is about Shen and Low seeking to more or less also give us another aspect of what development is all about. And for them, they are seeking to establish the fact that we can only say there is development if whoever, for example, in this case, the church, if the church is seeking to go into a community and to bring any form of development that we are thinking about. If the church is seeking to do anything like that, they have to necessarily involve the members of the community. And so in this case, if we want to do anything at Adabraka, then for it to qualify to be more or less development, or we can confidently say we are embarking on development and there is church and development, then the indigenous or the people in the particular locality must be involved. If the people are not involved, we cannot say it's development. So this is the argument that they are making. And so they term it as people-centered development. And so for it to be a development, there must be the indigenes coming up or getting involved and effecting the necessary change and all there is that we want to see in the community. And they have reasons for why they say that. Okay, so what do you think about this school of thought? Francis, earlier you said you have a problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem. I was just saying I hadn't fully understood.
You haven't fully understood. Okay.
What
Okay,
they were
so
trying.
if this is the argument, if this is what someone is saying, that for us to say that there's development, or for us to say that the church is embarking on a meaningful development, then the people, wherever the development is taking place, the people might be involved. If the people are not involved, probably you're only giving charity and you are only more or less just trying to do something that may not be lasting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you think about this school of thought?
I agree with that you can't go into a community and say you have made impact unless the people there are more or less transformed. If I go and I just build a well and I leave without teaching the people how to fetch from the well, or being involved in the whole construction of the well and passing on knowledge, then I have only just gone to destroy or create something without actually making any meaningful developments in the community. So involving the people is 100% required to be successful in any form of developments that we intend to do anywhere, whether as Christians or as a government, even as a leader in a company. If the people in the company, you don't pass on any knowledge, people don't get any skills, and they only come to work and leave, then after 10 years, you cannot say your company will continue to thrive, because once you leave, the people there will also scatter because you haven't impacted them in any way. So I think I agree with their point of view 100%.
If the people are powerless, how are they able to do that?
Come again?
Just say that if the people are powerless, they lack the requisite skills or the capability to understand or to come along with you. And so what will you do in those cases? Or don't you think that there will be people that may not be able to come along?
So that's why there must be effort to train and pass on knowledge. I mean, you can give instructions to people, write everything down, do A, B, C, D, and then you can follow instructions and probably accomplish a task. But if you intentionally train them and empower them and give them capacity to do it even in your absence, and to even think outside of the box of what you have asked them to do, then you have made more impact. So I think that should always be the goal if you want to bring development to any community.
Okay, any other person? Chris?
Rev, I'm here.
What's your take? Do you agree with this school of thought? How deficient is it?
I'm listening to the various philosophies. So, for
what
me,
is your philosophy?
Maybe I'm still pondering about it. So, I mean, when you first asked about what makes development, I believe that it must be tangible. Because in Africa, people they impose development on you, like making you feel that your area is developed. And you are seeing that it's not developed. So I believe that the development must be tangible. I mean, if you tell me that Ghana is a third something country, I should feel it in my pocket. You know, it shouldn't be just an imaginary thought or something that I should, agree with, statistical, yeah.
Also, Ben.
Yes, please.
Farim Manobra.
Oh, what makes development?
Oh no! Now we've moved on to Shem and then Lau. They were just seeking to say that for us to say there's a development, the people, wherever we seeking to embark on whatever project or developmental agenda, the people must be involved. If the people are not involved, it is not development.
Yes. So, please, I believe so, because sometimes standing on the outside, we may think these are the people's greatest needs. But since maybe, for example, a church in a community, we may all not live in that particular community. A few of us may. So there may be some pertinent needs and some pressing needs that those people may value more than what we may want to do for them. Because I think that we've had some challenges like that, where we embarked on certain projects and we still got some complaints from the community that, I mean, we lived in. We constructed a wall and a gutter, thinking that it was going to ease, because there was this large gutter right behind our church and there was this bridge, so we were concerned. We did that, but the community down us rather suffered, because they said, oh, our wall is now causing flooding in some other places. So to us, we thought we had developed the community or we had made inputs, but we had created more problems. So I think from a practical side, something our church has been through.
Okay. Okay, so how do we juxtapose this? For example, with what the missionaries did, they came, they said we needed hospital and they built hospital for us. It's not development?
Oh, I think that was a very obvious need.
Obvious.
The education system, the training they gave us, that was a very obvious.
No, are you saying that because they imposed their thinking on us, so they have done well?
No, I'm saying that that's an obvious, that was a need, like something that is visible to the eyes, but I'm coming from the place where there are some things that we think we can do for the community, but they may not really need it.
Did you say
an example is I think one of our Baptist churches, Abundant Grace, like this in is it Committee 18? They built a library, but the community is not patronizing it.
They are not patronizing it.
People are not coming to the library.
Okay.
Because I think that community, people are more in the house, like maybe at home, but I'm sure maybe some other places like maybe Mamprobi, Dansuman, Kolebu, Kolegono areas, it would have helped the people there more. Maybe a hospital like this, an obvious need. Maybe in that whole radius, there's no hospital.
No, I am struggling because before the white man came, we were doing medicine. So if you say that it's an obvious need, for us before they came, there was no need. If somebody is sick,
Reverend, please.
Reverend, are you sure there was no need?
No, before when somebody was sick, I mean, we would treat the person. Before the white man came, we were not healing ourselves.
Yeah, but I also think that there were other issues.
One at a time. Who was speaking? Frank?
No, I just intercepted because of the.
Because of what? Okay, France's network is having problem. Who else?
To answer that question.
We lost you, Frank. We lost you. Francis, am I on?
Yes, please. You are. I think it was Frank and Benji who were trying to speak. So
okay,
then Benji.
Benji, you can go ahead.
Okay, so please, I was saying that even now it's very obvious that even though we had our own herbal medicines and all that, there were still some challenges that were beyond us and some things which were not even properly diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I think recently a medical doctor was telling me that lots of people with some liver conditions, people who have gone through some of our own herbal treatment we thought was good. So, you know, in Kenya University, even now, they have a whole department going straight into research into herbal medicine and all that. So I believe that the hospital has made a world of difference. Because even some of the herbalists can even attest to the fact that even the hospital has helped them.
I've lost him, eh?
Yeah.
Please, I'm here. I think I was done with my points. That's why.
Oh, you're done with your point. Okay.
Yes, please. Yes, I just unmuted. Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, but I think the general consensus is, I mean, you are going into somebody's community, you are going to help, you are going to give support. You are not just looking at
And Felix has also fallen away. He's right there.
Is Rep gone?
Yeah, I think his network.
Network is bad. Okay, I'll continue the lecture from here.
Okay, continue. Francis, am I on?
Yeah, you are. Michael said he wanted to continue. So
Chawe, you wanted to continue the lecture?
No, my continuation was contingent on your absence. So since you are present, I can't continue.
Of course. So, for example, the example someone also gave, you go into somebody's community, you do a borehole, a mechanized borehole, and then you just, go and dig the borehole there. And nobody know even how, for example, the borehole should be operated. Or you go there, you don't even know the water situation or the texture of the land and all there is, the history, and whatever antecedents, for example, that probably you should have known, the cultural situations and other things that probably may be pertaining before you go on that land, seeking to, for example, go and just do something for them and think they will need it. We know of villages, we know of people, places that there is borehole, but people still pass by the borehole and go to the springs to go and fetch water. Why should that happen? What is the problem? I mean, did we involve them? Is that what they wanted? Is that what they needed? Could you have probably assessed the needs very well? And if we assess the need, could probably there be any other alternative that will make the people be involved in whatever it is that we want to give them? All right, so that's what Schenk and Lowe was seeking to say, that before you claim that you have developed a certain community or you are embarking on some level of community development, the people must necessarily be part of it. They must necessarily be involved. And that is more or less like the qualification. I mean, that determines what a development in a particular community may be. As a community development, it's a social transformation that involves changes in the awareness, motivation, and behavior of individuals, and also the groups or other group stakeholders that may be residing in a particular
I have a
community.
question.
Yes, please.
So does that mean that this Ghana Post address system we did will not pass as development? Because even after that digital post, we don't see Ghanaians using it. So it's not leading to a change in individual behavior. People are still giving directions and other things with the kiosks and then the trees and other things. So the Ghana seller and the cocoa seller it is. So is it that it is development, but we haven't finished it by training and educating people about that development, or it is not development because it hasn't led to the change of their behavior yet?
What is it? You have heard Michael, right?
Yeah, we heard him.
What is it? Dr.
So,
Bamia feels we need what do you call it? GPS. And so I'm sure in his thinking, in the thinking of the leadership, GPS will help us to be able to streamline things. We can be able to have everybody in the system. The Uber services and address services and other locating everybody may be easy. We can all be on a certain platform and be able to operate from there. But it doesn't, according to Michael, it doesn't seem to be working. Is it that the people are indisciplined and want to maintain the status quo, or leadership did not do a good need assessment, and for that matter, this Ghana Post address system is not really to develop us? That is Chawe's question.
Okay. Can I come in? Hello.
You can show your hand.
Okay. Sorry.
I think Amegashin wanted to speak.
Yes. So I wanted to say that I think earlier on the definitions was that it must be a need. I can see the GPS from two angles. One, a future risk intervention. As it is right now, IT literacy is it's not so high up there. Today, there are many people with smartphones who don't even know how to send a GPS, connection, much less follow it. I think that by and large, it was the banks that was using a lot of this as a lot of not being able to locate people as one of the reasons why their risk management was high, why their interest rates were high. If you look at somebody around Jamestown, Choco area, I don't think that GPS is much of a need at the current time. So I would think that something like the toilet switch they are doing is much more of a need. I mean, we look at Japan and how Japan moved from latrines into WCs, and they've been able to do such a beautiful transition in a period of time that you will not even imagine that Japan used to be filled with so much latrine. So I think that the toilet move is more of a now thing for many people in many areas, deprived areas now. And maybe as we move on, then they can catch up to the GPS and what it means. So that's how I see it. It's development. It might not necessarily be development for now. Then the appreciation might not necessarily be for now.
So with the GPS, we can trace everybody and be able to get the taxes in so that we can build a toilet.
No, you see.
What do you mean by
it
no?
It doesn't do that exactly.
But
because you see, the GPS, your GPS is not, your GPS location is not even verifiable. I mean, if I state a GPS location right now, there is no guarantee that in the next 2 months I'll be here. And so being able to track people, like for instance, the thing is a much better thing to push. The SNIT is a much better thing to push. So if we are pushing for many more people, even in the non-formal sectors, insisting that for them to be able to access loans, even from these small microfinances, if we insist that there must be a level of SNIT contribution, those are ways in which we can lock and secure loans, and we can track people better than for somebody in my village. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Daniel.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I think that it's important for us to identify the structures that every society needs. So for me, talking about the GPS is part of infrastructure, because development needs some wheels to move to reach to the people and to accelerate. So if we don't have some structures in place, then the process of development will retard. So I think that a GPS is one of those infrastructure that everybody needs in our contemporary world. So for me, I think that, yes, it might be development in one area, but I think that generally it's part of the infrastructure that we need to accelerate development.
So how does it add up to an average Jamestown person's life?
So when you look at Ghana, you're not looking at Jamestown or Nalerugu or whatever. You are looking at Ghana in the context of the world. If we want to compete with the world, to make sure that Ghana as a country, the people of Ghana move forward to a level where we can say that Ghana is developed, you have to look at the general good and not just maybe because it has to get to every person. For me, I think that is. And even when you get to a community, at the community level, it's not everybody who may even subscribe to what others may say, the majority may say. There may be those who will think otherwise. But you look at the majority, and eventually the few who may object to it will come to understand that, look, this was something good, but we did not understand. So it's not everybody who understand at the beginning, but eventually they will get there.
Okay, so then if this is the case, then it didn't qualify according to Schenk's definition because people were not involved.
So it's not, I agree with that submission that you have to involve people. But if it says you have to involve all people, then I disagree. But if you say you have to involve people, I agree. But not every person.
If you say not every person, what do you mean? Because if you don't involve me and tell me, for example, what you yourself have said that could be the reason, people do not understand what this thing is all about. What is NCCE doing? What is the Information Ministry doing? Why can't we be able to prepare the mind of people that this is what we're going to do, and this is what is going to give unto us, and this is the reason why everybody needs to probably go according to what is being done.
You see, if you get to any community, then most of the issues that will come would be their felt needs. They will tell you we need water, we need roads. Some will even tell you we need a signboard. But is that their ultimate need? You need to involve them, educate them on why they need a borehole, why they need a school, why they need a clinic. And if they get to understand it, yes, they will buy into it. But there may be some who would disagree. So there you identify those who are the deviants. And of course, it may take time for them to understand. But if you can identify the major stakeholders, the key people who would promote development in the community, I think that we'll be able to get there. It's just like, I mean, in the church, let me just use the church. We are not all at the same level of spirituality. There are people who just go to church to tick the box. And there are those who are heavily grounded in the word. But it's the same way that comes to all of us. So it's just like how the seed is scattered. And if you appreciate the level of people's understanding of the word of God and accept them as they are and spend time with them, eventually they will come to know that, yes, we need Jesus Christ as our Lord and personal Savior.
Well, I think the essence of what we're discussing, for example, the development dimension of the church, for example, going to the community, or anyone for that matter going into the community, the essence is to be wary or careful of just going to impose or dump things on people. So yeah, that is the essence of what we're seeking to establish. So yeah, you may have some good intention, and if you refuse to do some level of need analysis and be able to take error, have an assessment and get people, the indigenous, involved, you may think you are doing something good, something excellent, which I may want to even agree that it may be good, probably for the long term. But if you fail, for example, to involve them, the end result may not be what you are intending.
Yeah.
And so for us, especially the church who seeking to embark on developmental projects and all those things that we're thinking about, we must be wary of imposing what we think the people need on them. And seek to involve them, seek to embark on a good need assessment so that we can get the people involved. Then they will be able to appreciate exactly what there is that you are doing. Because when you are imposing what you think the people need on them, what you are communicating is to say that you don't value them. If you value them, you will go to want to understand them, to involve them, and tap whatever resource they also have. And use that resource, because we say that there is a footprint of God in every community and every culture that you can connect with. There's something you can always link up with to be able to make the life of the people better. And so for us as a church, seeking to be relevant in our community, we must ensure that we don't go and prejudice and impose certain things upon the people, but we value them, involve them, and be able to help them to appreciate whatever it is that we are giving unto them. I think we have to be mindful of that. And that is the essence of what we are discussing. Michael. Is Michael there? Francis, am I on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right, so does that help a little bit?
Reverend.
Yep.
Reverend. Yeah, I don't know if I missed something, but from that argument, don't you just think that sometimes people don't really know what they want or need? And for that matter, we should be a little bit more imposing when it comes to developmental projects. Because there are times that, for instance, there could be a community that needs education, but probably all maybe they farming. However, let's go to certain places in your service or something. You are teaching, and people don't really value education. Probably they value more like farming, going to the farmers. But then if we're able to educate them, it helps them better in the long run. I also think that there are some needs that people can't, as a community, may not even be able to say that this is what I need. But then you looking from afar and from your experience and what you know.
Francis, am I on?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I think his point is really is well made, that because sometimes people don't know what they want, so go and impose what you think they want on them.
You can impose on certain communities if you recognize it.
Okay, so you can impose and force me to use it.
Can I come in?
Frank, that's what you are seeking to say. That because I'm in Adabraka, I don't know I need a borehole, or I don't know that I need a school. And so you necessarily have to, you force me to use the borehole, you force me to go to school. So you don't need to involve me. That's what Frank is seeking to say. Because I don't know what I want. Is this Alifu that wants to talk?
Okay, Reverend, that's how I was saying that probably I missed something. It seems that sometimes. Sorry?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm saying that, yes, we need to involve, but there are times too that we have observed it, that sometimes people don't really know what they want and they don't know what they need. And certain things that can help people, sometimes they oppose it. But in the long run, even look at sometimes when we were younger, going to school was always fighting for our parents, you don't want to go to school. But after you finish school, you realize that, oh, there's importance for.
Okay, so is it not a way?
So that's where I'm coming from. I don't know.
No, that's fine. I get you. But is it not a way of seeking to make people understand why that is being done, rather than going to say that you don't know what you're about, you don't know what you need, and so therefore I am imposing this on you? So if you want to say that because I don't know what I want, so you will not involve me in getting my buy-in in and making sure that
unless we are saying that
Mm.
unless we are saying that anytime we impose a developmental project on a people, what we are trying to say is that they don't know what they're about and they don't have any other form of understanding. I'm just thinking that there are times
that's what you are saying.
Yes.
That's what you are saying. I'm just making your point. Mm.
Okay.
And I'm saying that should not be the case, that we will just go because they don't know what they are about. We don't even have to mind them. We don't even have to involve them. And when you do that to the success of what you want to impose on them,
yes,
the probability that you succeed may not be there. And so I think the approach should rather be align with them and let them value what you are bringing, let them understand it. There may be some few recalcitrant ones, but if you use the right approach and they understand what you are bringing them and they value it, that is when probably the impact we want to make, we'll be able to make that impact. But you can't rubbish and just send something there as if they don't exist, and you expect that they should come and use it. Go to the north and see whether some people are still not leaving the classroom, and we are begging people to go to the classroom. You go to certain communities and the classroom is empty. And they are all on the farm, working on their yam farm, because that's where they get money from. But we are the what do you call it? The classroom are there, built by the government, and people are not using it. The goats, the cattle, and all those who are taking shelter under the classrooms. And so I understand where you are coming from, but we cannot just also subscribe to that school of thought and say that because people don't know what you're about, why don't you give them what they really need? Because they don't know what they're about, so go and impose something on them. That also
Reverend,
is.
I have a life story. Okay, not today, but then something that I watched some years ago. There was a borehole was done for them, and they refused to drink from the borehole. And there was this river, I think, that was giving them sickness, like bilharzia and the other sicknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason they gave for not using the borehole was that I remember so well. It's been years, but I remember they said the water wasn't sweet. In quotes, they said the water from the borehole is not sweet. They prefer the water from the river, which I mean I think it was GTV. They showed the picture of the river, and I mean you can barely look at it, but that's what they wanted to drink. So that's why that's why I'm saying that sometimes probably I could be very wrong, but
no, you have a point too. You have a point, and the classical case you are even bringing is buttressing what I'm saying. That I mean, you thought they need a borehole without preparing the ground, involving them, telling them why they need a borehole and why that is better than the what do you call it, the bilharzia infested water. And then you went there. We are on a project. We're trying to say that all Upper East district and regions, all of them must have a certain number of boreholes. So we go there, we dig the boreholes, and we go away. And the borehole is still sitting down there, rusting. People are not using it, and they still go to what they were using before you brought the borehole. So what do we do to ensure that when we send things like that to some of those areas or to the communities, to the villages, people will value it and begin to use it rather than what we seek to do. And we say, okay, they need it. Then we send it there and it's still standing there, not serving the use we thought when we send it will serve. So it is good to think for people, but as we think for them, let's try to involve them as well. Yeah.
Also, for my hand is up.
Yes, boss.
Yes, sir. I absolutely agree with you that we ought to involve the people. But it's also true that much as we involve the people, sometimes we have to prescribe. Yes, I work with World Vision, and of course, the line of thinking is involving the people.
Okay.
But let me just give an example. You go to a community, they honestly need water, but they don't have toilet facilities. You educate them, you involve them on the importance of having toilet facilities. They prefer the free range. It takes a long time. So sometimes you have to put some conditionalities. Okay, no toilet, no water. It's just like, I mean, some of the things is our attitude, our mindset. Let me take the example of a seatbelt. Many people, the first time you drive, many people feel uncomfortable using the seatbelt. But after you've done it several times, there comes a time you realize that it's actually for my good. And you sit down. If you don't put on a seatbelt or you get into a car and there's no seatbelt, you feel uncomfortable. So sometimes you have to prescribe, then people get to appreciate the importance of some facilities. So I agree with you, involve the people, but sometimes you have to prescribe because
and prescribing is not imposing. Because prescribing also suggests that you may continue to dialogue until the people understand. And
I agree with you.
I subscribe to whatever it is that you are saying.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I mean, we are looking at the effectiveness of what we do as a church, and so that we don't continue misfiring in our communities and misreading what there is that is happening in our communities, so that we can be able to serve the needs that are around us. Okay, so these changes must come from within the individuals and groups and cannot be imposed from outside. And so we're saying that it means that the development worker, for example, as the church, our job is to facilitate the process of learning, growth, and development of the people themselves. And so whatever it is that we will do until they will come to that understanding and be able to unlearn that which they've been with over the years, and then be able to learn something new that will better their life. But it is true, sometimes when you habituate in something, you may not see, for example, the need. Okay, somebody will come and say it, but it won't make sense to you. Okay, You will go to, for example, certain part of Nima, MAM will be around the gutter. The moment you get there, it may seem like it's thinking for you, but for the people who are there, they are not hearing it. And so, yes, you will see that, this is their environment is not okay. But for them, they've habituated and they cannot even feel the sense again. And so therefore, for them, nothing is happening. And so we may have to take them through a certain process and let there be some learning and some unlearning, and let them appreciate exactly what you want to do for them, let them understand. Then when you do it, they will value it. We must be able to open their eyes to some of the consequences and the implications if they fail, for example, to do what there is we want to do for them. I mean, going to defecate by the seaside, even when there's KVIP, people will still not go there. They want the free range, like Salifu said. What is it that we can do for people to also subscribe to what we think we are prescribing for them or what we think will help them? So those are some of the things we need to do. There has to be some level of paradigm shift as to how we, the church, and for example, the community, how we approach our developmental issues and agendas. So building creche, building clinics, or the establishing of certain things, yes, may be good, but if it's not done with some level of high assessment and the involvement of the people, there may be some difficulties if we do it and we leave. Okay. Any addition? So, Shen and Co are seeking to say that, so therefore when we talk about the community development, we are seeking to empower. It should come with the level of empowerment. So you are going to empower. Empower means to enable people to stimulate and increase the power or their power and join their power together in order to develop their own community. And so we go into a community, like someone says, we seek to get the stakeholders, we identify some of the things they need, we try to work around to get their buy-in, because the people, before you go there, they already have power. But how to harness and stimulate that power into something that will benefit them is what we are going to do, because they have the power to do whatever it is that you are going to do in the community. By some way, for example, they have the capacity to do it, they don't have the money, so you go and facilitate with your resources. They have what it takes to do. You are going as a facilitator to empower them to be able to buy in whatever you are doing, and so that even when you finish whatever you are doing and you leave the community, they can still be able to continue what you have come and be able to use what you have come to do for them. It is an act of skill and confidence building, developing through cooperation, sharing, and mutual learning. So it's a skill development, confidence building, and cooperation building and sharing, so that whatever it is that you are seeking to go and do for them can have some level of impact. Empowerment does not mean that power is handed down or given to people because they already have the power. Okay, so as you go to, for example, the community, your idea, your focus, one of the concepts you can use is to ensure that you empower the people. You empower them, they can develop themselves, bring the best out of what they already have without sitting down and going hungry. So what are some of the example ways the church can do that with respect to empowerment? Anybody here with the church charter Gogoloshi? Is Douglas in the class?
No, please.
Okay. Anybody here? Okay. Chris, your area, what did you do? How can we empower people? I mean, apply this concept in your area.
East Legon, Trasaco. We don't have need to.
East Legon, Trasaco. Oh, I see.
We would do the empowerment.
But the violation areas, you see some slums or something there. Or
don't mind me.
I know you are rich.
No, but the truth is that even for a church like Lifeway, we have an interesting mix. So we have the typical, what you call maybe like the house helps, you know, and all of that. So, and then we have some number of squatters in the area, also very serious. So
how do we apply this concept of empowerment with respect to development in an area like that?
Maybe we can do things like, will I call it skills training? You know, there are people who may not be able to afford. I mean, we cannot possibly afford taking them to the universities and all of that. So we can do. I know when I was in Nungwa, for example, we partnered with some of these NGOs and did some very good, I mean, soap making, you know, tie and dye, you know, all of that. In the quest to be able to, you know, equip them with the needed skills to be able to make some, you know, to improve on their livelihood. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense.
Okay, any other?
Okay, Reb, I want to make a contribution.
Yes, boss.
Okay, Reb, looking at what today I couldn't join early, but the few that I've been involved in, it look as if the area of development we are looking at as now have been pushed more to the villages and the remote areas. Most often, that when you come to the cities like Accra and the rest, we don't normally see some of these projects. Even if a church is involved in any of these projects, we more often look at the profit venture of them. For instance, if a church is setting up a school, a clinic, or any of these forms, in Accra, in Kumasi, we tend to look more as a business. But rather, if we want to do all these things in the villages, it becomes more or less like a developmental project to support the community. So that's what I'm seeing, that these are the common things happening now, that probably we have to change and still look at how we can develop the small area that we are. I think yesterday or two, you made an example. We've seen several big churches in Accra that the road leading to the church premises, so dusty, everything that the church can afford to even construct that road, but we are not ready to do it. We feel that the government should come in and do. It's an area that we should, all of us should look at and see how we can develop our small community. Thank you.
Okay. For example, when you come to say our church, for example, we have in almost all our campuses, we have what we call children's library. And so we say that all the children in the area, all the children in the community, you can come and we have a time, for example, Shashi, you can come every day in the afternoon at 3, and then you can come and read. And we have volunteers who are there to help them to read. And Shashi alone is about 200 children. At Abaka, we have about 100 children coming. Then we have a campus at Amasama. Amasama, we have also about 50 children coming every afternoon. Then we have Botiano to almost about 60, 70 children coming. I mean, and we don't charge anybody. Sometimes they come, we even refresh them. And we pay the people who are the volunteers. Sometimes we give them something as they take care of this thing. We know churches also who partner, for example, with Compassion Ghana. I'm sure some of you have heard about Compassion Ghana.
Yes.
Yeah, they come to have some level of partnership with you, and then you give them you'll be responsible of providing, for example, some your premises or something, and they can also just come in with spot and be paying some people, and to be taking care of needy children within a certain radius or a certain locality and that kind of stuff. And so all these things, for example, as we're just seeking to empower people and change, for example, their level of power, change their livelihood, and empower them so that they can be able to develop themselves and develop their own communities. Yeah. Any other example on that? What else can we do? How do we empower people? Skills training, somebody mentioned. We're taking needy children, for example, and impacting into their life. How do we empower a community that do not have latrine or borehole? How do we empower them by giving them that? How will it work?
For me, I think empowerment will always come back to basically education.
Empowerment comes to education.
In any community, despite what their needs may be, they may not have water, they may not have certain common things that we take for granted, electricity. Once you're able to give them at least basic education, then they begin to appreciate some of the other things that we can give to them. So once education comes first, at least the very basic one, the JHS level education, then any other thing we introduce on top of that is more appreciated and better used. But if we skip the education and just give them those things, more or less the charity as we mentioned before, they may use it, but they may not be able to take it to the next level because they cannot understand how it is created or even maintained. So I think education is what we must go for.
So the goal is social transformation through awareness creation, through motivation and behavior change. So it's so critical, and that we need to. So whatever it is that we do that will help people, educate people to understand and bring them to the point where they will want to appreciate what you are about to do for them, rather than maintaining the status quo, is what we are supposed to do when it comes to community development. All right, so that's the empowerment bit. Then we have the participation, and so we say this is to ensure that community dwellers partake in the assessment, planning, implementation of developmental plans and evaluation. If we want to enable the community to develop themselves, the focus of development must be on the people's capabilities, potential, power, resources, knowledge, and skills. The community also understands their situation better than anyone else. They must participate in assessing their own needs. To exclude the community is to deny their human dignity and expertise regarding their experiences. What comes to mind with the participation dimension? Empowerment, educate them, let them unlearn and relearn, and get some awareness for them to be able to understand why they need, but participation as well. Why is participation also critical? Why do we have to work together with them?
I mean, I would say participation is critical because of the aspect of knowledge transfer. As they do it with you, it's easier to transfer the knowledge to them. When we are done with the project or whatever it is, and we move on. Beyond the knowledge transfer, it also gives them a sense of entitlement that we will not come and say, that people came to do their thing and left. But we'll say,
I think you wanted to say a sense of ownership rather than entitlement.
Well, yeah, maybe a sense of ownership may be a better word. So they won't come, if it's Accra people who came to Tamale, will say, the Accra people came to do their thing and it is over there. But we will say that we worked with the Accra people to set up this something, and we will continue to work with it even after they are gone. So the aspect of participation helps to keep whatever it is long lasting after you are done with it.
Okay. Any other? Who is Tom?
Something I may add.
Yes, Reverend.
A minute. Who is Tom?
Yes, Reverend. I just joined from Odoko Official Town.
Pardon me?
Tom from Odoko Official Town.
Is it your first time?
Yes.
Today is your first time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Reverend Felix. Tom is with us at Odoko Official Town.
Well, yeah, I saw it today. That's what I'm asking. Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, Amegashi.
Yes, sir. I think that one of Nkrumah's biggest problems was the participation bit. He had all these ideas, but he was not able to get it down to the list of us so we could understand. I mean, with hindsight, we can all see where he wanted to take us to, but at the time, majority of the people just couldn't appreciate what he wanted to do. And so if people are not able to appreciate what you're able to do, then they can even work to destroy themselves. Even though you want to seek their good, but they can even work and support the things that will even destroy them. On hindsight, I'm sure many Ghanaians would have empowered Nkrumah to stay, but now he's not. So if you don't participate with the people fully for them to get the buy-in, then we just might be throwing money down the drain.
Okay. Any other? Richard, are you there?
Yes, Reverend. I'm following.
Yeah, you're following. But are you in a car still?
No, I just go home.
Okay, that's fine. Also for Apia, why do we have to allow them to ensure that they participate in the development?
Generally, this one, if you talk about general benefits of participation, it is another aspect of involvement. The person participating is involved, he is concerned, he can give his best, he understands. If he does not participate, it's like he can be an onlooker and might not benefit to the project very well. So it's a general benefit of participation. And I think that's that's the reason why it is important.
Okay.
I also think that, Reverend, if I may, I also think that it will be a means of a way for us judging if the people are really into the project or not. If they are involved in putting it up, you can tell from their reactions and their actions that they are really interested in this project. If they are not involved, you even know whether they, like, back to your point, whether they like the project or not. So I think it's another way to see they are involved. Yeah.
So the involvement makes them value the project. The involvement makes them own the project. The involvement makes them to want to preserve the project. And so they don't see as somebody's thing, somebody's own. Like there's some school of thought that believe that the reason why, for example, the indigenous during the missionary times, they call the hospital mission house or mission clinic, mission school, mission, whilst they're supposed to have said, okay, our school, our hospital, our this, our that. I mean, the ownership component is not there. When people don't own what you give unto them, they treat it anyhow. They treat it with contempt. They don't value it. They will not protect it. Okay. And so for the purposes of sustainability, you involve the people and let them own it, and they will be able to take care of it and preserve it, and even encourage others who are prejudiced or who have some level of misconception about what you're doing for them. They can even become your ambassador, your mouthpiece that can ensure that the empowerment is done, the education is done, then awareness is created, then they can all jump on board and be able to make whatever it is that you are giving unto them sustainable. Any addition on that? Kweku Boateng, you haven't spoken today. Or your network.
Hello, Rev.
Yeah, let's hear you.
Rev, yes, I'm saying that as a matter of natural principle, whenever people get are involved in activity, they own it, they feel part of it, and they preserve, like you said. I want to give just a simple example of where I live. And at every point in time, whenever we see a pothole, we try to fix it ASAP. We compare the same road to other roads, main roads constructed by the government. We are all waiting for either how do you call it, government agencies to come and fix it and the rest, because we feel that that one belongs to the government. So anytime people get involved, even in church building, when we are building a church, constructing a church building, members that get involved, you realize that they end up staying in that church for a very long time because they feel that they've done something. They are involved in it, they understand it, and they know really what it is. So involving them, letting them get participated in the activity or project you are doing for them really help them to own it and preserve it.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, of course, whether tangible or intangible shares, when someone invests a tangible or intangible shares or resources into something, he has a way of taking care of the thing than when his money or his resources or his share is not part. And so, yeah, the participation is critical if the impact of whatever it is that we seek to be doing for the community is supposed to be preserved. Okay. Then the third concept with respect to what Schenk and then Lau are talking about is sustainability. It's another reason why we need to involve them, involve the community in whatever we are doing. And so sustainability often refers to development that does not exploit but sustain the environment so that it can continue to sustain life. Sustainable development also refers to efforts and projects that will keep going even when the developer withdraws. Even when the church is no longer directly involved, the project should still be running. It means, therefore, that the process of development is facilitated in such a way that community can experience that we have started it ourselves and are able to continue with it. We have to come to that point where people can say, okay, it is us, it is for us, and we must be able to preserve it. The people-centered development worker, therefore, must listen more than talk, must learn more than teach, and facilitate more than lead. Okay. What comes to mind with respect to this one as well? The sustainability. Sustainability. Yeah, Seth.
Okay, Rev, yes, when they are involved, it helps to sustain the project. Like we said, let me give a typical example of a water project that was constructed in my village by a donor. It was a church. And before it was constructed, they engaged us, they had a town meeting, they involved the leaders, everything. After the construction of the borehole, the town looked at how can we sustain this. So we agreed that for every bucket, they were taking 10 pesos or so, 10 pesos. And anytime there is a fault or something with the borehole, we use part of that money to do it. Even though it was done by the church for us, but we saw it as our own. and we're ready to sustain, ensure the continuity. And through that, even the amount that we're able to mobilize from those fetching water, out of one borehole, we now have about 5 or 6 boreholes in the village. So it even encourages others to add on to the existing one. So that's what I understand by the sustainability.
Okay, that's awesome. That's a very powerful example. Asafo Ben, any remark?
Oh, Rev, what they've said is what was on my mind actually.
Okay.
Yes, please. Okay. I think the little I can add is that I think that Ghanaians, we are quite noted for not having a maintenance culture, and sometimes it's better not to start a project at all than for it to come to a place where now the project has become a burden. I think somebody said something about boreholes. I think recently some missionaries came to dig some boreholes here, and I think they didn't really train people to even service it. It could have acted as some form of even work for the community and training. And like we were saying, when people are involved, they see it as their own. They even want to keep it because in sustaining it, the purpose for which it was built is actually fulfilled over a long period of time. So I think that's all I just want to say, that very often a lot of things are constructed here in Ghana and people pass by and we constantly say, oh, Ghana is there, we don't have maintenance culture. Ghana is there where people, we like to waste. So I believe that the sustainability can even act as an example. And I think that can act as a tool for motivation and even a long-term like evangelism. When people see an excellence culture, they will want to learn from and emulate.
Okay, awesome. Michael. Michael, are you there, Chawi? Michael, what done?
Rev, I'm not asleep. The network is bad, so
Okay.
I've just been listening.
You want to add anything to the sustainability?
Oh, I think it's been said over and over again. So I associate myself with the comments of my learned colleagues.
Yes, boss. Yes, boss. Stephen, you have not spoken in a while. Or they have said your own.
Yes, I agree with what has been said. I think they've said my own too.
Okay. All right. So I think that when you read the rest of the material I sent, on the page, and then try to research more, you should be able to get more of information. But I think if we could practicalize some of the things we're picking today, or we've been picking so far, as far as our commitment to the community development is concerned, I think it will go a long way to help us to have targeted, sustainable development in whichever community we decide to more or less have some project in, right? And so if, for example, I ask that you should more or less discuss the concept of development as proposed by Schenk, you should be able to talk something about it in the exam.
Reverend, it's like an exam question, kind of.
Yeah, it will come in the exam.
Hi. Please, Reverend, repeat.
Oh, I will. I just said that you should take note of it.
This question is sponsored by UNICEF.
Reverend, consider our age.
Oh, why? You have the material, and you can always
concept of development.
So I could say that discuss the main concept of development as proposed by Schenk. I mean, should be able to say something about what we've discussed today. So read the rest of the material and make some further notes and arm yourself. Before we close, can we discuss what practical ways or strategies can we use to involve the laity? When I talk about the laity, for example, our congregants in community development.
Please come again.
Okay, so we've been talking about how the church will embark in community development or development in the community and all those things. How do, for example, would the leadership or the church management ensure that the laity, the congregants, what practical steps can we take or strategies can we take to make them also own and get involved in the things, for example, the church will say we want to go and do?
I want to say something.
Is it not clear? Why is it still not clear?
Oh, it's okay. Okay. Rev, I want to use a simple example. That's a community cleanup in your area or locality. For instance, if the church decide to embark on a cleanup exercise, it could be by the youth, it could be by the women fellowship or the entire church. When we do that, I believe the habit, and if we are used to doing that, and they are supposed to do communal labor in the area, our members will not exempt themselves because they see it as something that the church encourages them to do. So they will be part. If it's this time not the church, but the community, they will be involved in it.
Okay. Anybody want to add something? What practical ways? I mean, I'm sure some of these things that I'm asking, we are already doing it in our churches. So if we are going to do a project somewhere and we want our members to be part, what do we normally do? Or what strategies do we put in place just so that we can get them involved in what we are doing in the community or we are going to do?
Okay, I'd like to make a few submissions, Reverend.
Yes, boss.
So 2 submissions that come to my mind. First is for a church that is thinking of going into some form of community development. It would be good if the church can to have some kind of discussion within the congregation itself. Many of the time, sometimes some of these decisions are taken up at the top, and they just come to tell the church that, look, this is what we want to do. And you know, by that we even say we want to do. Yes, the decision has been taken already, but I mean, it's being done in the name of the church. And church folks or the congregants didn't get the opportunity to contribute to, you know, that decision. In the first place, I think, yes, if we can give that, so maybe there could be a number of options that can be floated around, you know, for church members to also express their opinion as to which way to go will be the best. That's first. If you started from that point, you get at least their involvement in a way, so that the decision is wide, cut across, and you can say that this is a decision of the church to do this for this community. That's the first thing. Second thing is, after doing that and after coming to a decision, a consensus, unanimous decision or majority decision, Now, then you can also find out in the spirit of volunteerism, how many people would want to volunteer to sort of implement or execute if it's a project or an activity, how many people want to, volunteer to do that, so that at least you can have some form of participation also from the church folks themselves as one, and then also get some volunteers or participation from the community themselves. Okay, so that's another angle, but so I'm looking at it in two ways: involving them right from the decision as to what to do for the community, one, and then also getting people to volunteer to actually work with the project, within the community, to have a real-time experience and interface with the community itself. The other thing also, I think I didn't say much when the discussion was going on, is deciding on a project for a community itself. Sometimes too, I think we have the opportunity to do what within project implementation or what they call the PMP and stuff like that. You can do what we call a baseline survey, where you basically seeking to find out what the existing information or the status quo in that study area or your scope is all about, and what the needs are. So it's a bit and pieces of what we've discussed already, but that's just one terminology I want to throw onto the platform for further, discussion. But these are my immediate thoughts. Thank you.
All right.
Reverend, yes.
Who is talking?
Yes. Yeah, Reverend, yes, me here. I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. I think building from what Pastor said. Let me give an example. The Presbyterian Church in my hometown wanted to do a water project, borehole project for the community. And then they decided that the men fellowship should own it, right? And then the men fellowship, you are supposed to own this, even though it's a whole church, you give a report and whatever. It generated a lot of interest. And because a section of the church, the men fellowship, are supposed to own it, they make sure the thing works. So when you want to do a project, you want to get the church members to, you can compartmentalize them. You can, something that's interests the youth. If the thing interests the youth, you give it to the youth. Especially the women, when there's something and they champions it, the thing grows very faster and it's sustained. So that's one strategy that we can also use. You see which section a department of the church is interested or can be linked to that project very well, and then you let them own it for the whole church. And that's one of the strategies that can be adopted.
Okay, that's awesome. Let me take the final one from Uncle Salifu. You have been doing a lot of projects. Is Mr. Salifu in?
Yes, I'm here.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, for me, I think that sustainability is key to every development. In fact, from inception of projects, if you have a project design and there's no sustainability plan in the project design, then that project is doomed to fail. Like they say, if you fail to plan, of course, you have planned to fail. So in the same way, if there's a project design and there's no detailed sustainability plan, and of course, that should obviously involve the people. The people's capacities must be built. They should be able to go further than what you have invested in it. If the people cannot go further than what you have invested in it, it means you have not done well. So I think that it's important to include sustainability plans in every project design, and that will involve the people.
Okay. All right, so it's something we need to look at how we will get our members to be involved in the things we are doing. And I think if we adopt it even in church activities, it will help us. Because in your church, you have a lot of technocrats. If you want to build, you have architects in your church. If you want to build, you have civil engineers. Whatever it is that we intend to do in church, we have some people more or less who are into some of those things in the church. So we can always leverage on their expertise in order to do things. So for example, we're going to do a project somewhere or a development agenda somewhere. Of course, we will need people to do the research. We will need people for mobilization. We will need people for the implementation. We will need people for, evaluation and other things that, the development may require. And all these in all the stages, we don't necessarily have to just bed in for just leadership. We can flow the thing and get committees for members, people who will do X, Y, Z, those who own this, those who will do this part. And so it becomes a holistic thing we are doing and everybody is on board. And so I think we will need consciousness in ensuring that some of these things are done. So it's not church staff, or it's not only the deacons, it's not only the pastors who will just go and do things and just come and tell our members, okay, we have gone to do X, Y, Z here, and it ends there. We need to involve them in the discussion, involve them in the mobilization, involve them in the implementation, and anything for that's, those who expertise we can use. We have to involve every member. And so these are some of the ways we will intentionally be able to get people to do whatever, to be part of all there is we want to do. There are so many ways. And I want you to think so that if it becomes a practical question for you, we should be able to answer it. All right. Any further question as we end today? Any question or addition?
No question for me.
Okay. All right, so all things being equal, we'll make
Reverend.
Yeah.
No question, but this one is a short info. Please, pastors, if you need a nice executive design for your posters and your programs, you contact Richard. Thank you. God bless you.
Who is speaking?
This is Richard.
Okay.
I'm welcome.
I see.
So if you need any design, photography, logo, anything, contact Richard.
You are so into it for us or something?
Oh yeah, I will do it for you.
Oh, I see.
If you need any poster for your program, just contact me.
Yes, please. Members, you have heard though.
We are grateful.
Yeah. Networking and sharing.
There's no opportunity to clap our hands.
Yes, you are contributing to our development. Our ministry development.
Oh, God will bless you.
This is the kind of development we want.
You know, capacitation.
Yes. You are contributing to our development. God will bless you.
All right. So in all our dealings, let's seek to capacitate more than giving charity. Charity is temporal. Charity is sometimes an event. The capacitation is lasting, and it seeks to cover the now and the future. And let's always learn to contextualize all there is we are doing and all the developmental agenda. Let's seek to do it from the people's perspective and involve them to ensure that empowerment is there, the participation is there, and so that the sustainability can be assured or guaranteed. And if that is done, we will not end up throwing money away or resources away, but whatever it is that we will give to people, it will be able to benefit them. Thank you all for today, and God bless us all. Amen.
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 Okay, so in absence of any further discussion, I think we can adjourn to Thursday. I'm not sure. I'm not sure we'll meet on Friday. I'll travel to Anglogan on Friday.
So would there be any in-person meeting that you had hope?
No,
we
may not have any in person. So we just do the last one on Thursday. But
Okay,
from Monday, you'll be meeting Reverend Enoch Thompson at the Baptist House. On Monday.
Physically.
Pardon me?
Physically.
Physically.
Face to face. Wow.
In person.
The COVID-19.
Please, what time will it be?
It's normally at 5.
5, okay.
Yeah, it's at 5.
Yes, thank you.
And so if you meet him, I hope to come around. If you meet him and he sees reason for making time for the virtual, fine. Other than that, kindly just do whatever he says.
Sure, Reverend.
Reverend Thompson is the Vice President Ministry for Convention. So he'll be taking you to...
He's not, Reverend Thompson is not tech savvy, I guess. He's an old-fashioned, old school, so...
Well, I mean, that is too quick to say.
We'll bear with him. It's fine. We'll manage. But we'll make our case.
It may be just a preference.
We'll make our case when we meet him, God willing, anyway.
That the COVID is still around, or?
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Have you been to Baptist House before?
Is it post-COVID or before pre-COVID, sir?
No, you know how the place is like.
Oh, sure. Yes, some of us have been there. I mean, there are some new students who have never been there. So
yeah, so at least if you, for example, go to the last floor, you see a very long hall. If it is a social distance you are talking about, he can put all of you there and social distancing. You wash your hands before you go to the...
Reverend Felix. Reverend Felix, you are not supporting us. Reverend Felix.
That's what the president has asked us to do. We should observe. We should meet.
But one of the social distancing is also physical distancing. So
schools are supposed to be closed down.
What schools? What schools?
Final year student.
That's what the president said.
You are all final year students.
You should get hot meals.
Well, hot meal, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about the hot meal. But I know that there are some category of people
that will purge the COVID from our system.
I mean, that should be a problem. I mean, you get some dispenser. There's a dispenser at the top, about 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, it's always empty. Reverend Felix.
Oh, that is Francis's church. So Francis will sort that out.
So which one, please?
You don't go to...
Although Francis, you must host as well.
I don't go to BIWCU.
It goes to charismatic. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes to charismatic.
Governor Francis, would I requested for coffee?
You requested for coffee.
You shouldn't worry.
I'll send a virtual one.
Right, so all things being equal, we'll meet on Thursday, and then we'll end up on some of these things. What we've done last week and this week is not exhaustive, and so fortunately, we have the books, and so if we can spend some time and go through the book, there are some beautiful readings and writings in the book. It's so good. I mean, Kwame, I'm sure you've gone through the book. It's so good. And so kindly put the soft copy somewhere and spend some time to also just skim through and read through. You can even use some of the concepts and the things inside for your own, to teach people and also for other things. So it's not exhaustive. It's not like we've done all there is we needed to do as far as church and community development is concerned. It's not exhaustive. So let's try to do some more reading. And that is what is done at this level. At this level, we'll show you what to read, what to do, and what to listen. Then you do more, to add up to all the risks we discussed in class. So kindly do spend some time to read more around that which we are just studying. Thank you all very much. God bless.
Thank you too, sir.
Someone pray for us to close.
We nominate Richard.
Please pray. Okay, Stephen, pray.
Okay, please, we are praying. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening's lecture. We bless you for all the knowledge that has been imparted. May this just not be head knowledge, but may we go and practicalize all that we've learned. Even in the name of Jesus, we pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
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 Those are supposed to bring me their form and their banker's draft. Kindly do it quickly.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please, a quick question. Are we getting the lecture slides?
What's like what I'm presenting?
Yes.
Well, if you want it, I'll bring it, but it's not well done.
Okay.
Oh, please, we like it like that.
So a slide that is going out should come with the bibliography, the in-text, and all those things under all those things. Okay. And so I only extracted it to make it presentable for us. So it's not well done. It's not supposed to circulate around like that.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, that's the challenge. But like I said, I always tell you where I pick the things from. And so that's how come all the research I shared today is the material I sent. The earlier one, the Your Kingdom Come, I've also said that one. The Shifa one, yes, I've also said it. So, but I can still forward the slide. If it is only for our consumption, it doesn't have to go out. Why not?
Okay, okay, sir.
Yes,
please.
Thank you so much.